Good afternoon, and thanks for joining me in this live stream. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're having a nice day so far. All right, so as you probably noticed by the title of this live stream here, I am going to be talking about $227 up to $1,069 on average. This is on a monthly basis, by the way, as well as high monthly checks. In fact, in this live stream, I'm going to be following up to a couple videos that I had out in the last, I don't know, week and a half or so. I've had a few questions coming in on those videos, and I wanted to follow up really quickly because this is actually really important to understand what is going on here, and especially if you are somebody who is low income or a fixed income beneficiary, yeah, this is pretty important stuff. And again, I just want to break down the details as far as what's really going on. And according to the statistics and all the reports and everything, I want to talk about all that. Also, I do want to take a couple minutes to talk about high monthly checks. In fact, if you saw the video over the weekend, I think it was on, what was it, Saturday? I think on Saturday I had that video. I had that video talking about these new monthly checks and this whole idea of establishing universal high income. Now, here's the thing. If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, you've certainly heard me talk about things like guaranteed basic income, GBI, universal basic income, UBI, simply just basic income, monthly checks, ongoing monthly checks, whatever. Some people call them monthly stimulus checks. I wouldn't necessarily call it that. But there's now this new idea out there as far as establishing universal high income. So again, I don't know about you, but I I like the sound of that one. Has a little bit better of a ring than just basic income. Sounds a little bit more intriguing, right? High income. I guess I'm not exactly sure how they determine high income, but this is just what they're talking about. So anyway, I kind of want to wrap all of this up, and again, mostly encompassing the details of those two videos. So really quickly here, let me run through the details of one of the videos that I had out, I don't know, a week and a half or so ago, give or take a couple days. But this one was talking about some different numbers and a report as far as some statistics that were released, and I want to break it down for you really quickly so you can see what is going on. All right, so let me just kind of give me those details really quickly here, okay? I'm not gonna go off on some like 10-minute rant here talking about this one video alone and the details of it, but just let me break down the details really fast here. So here's what the study found. Obviously, we all recognize this much. What is one thing that has gone up a lot over the last, call it, I don't know, 3 years or so? Yeah, you know the answer, right? Inflation, right? We talk about it all the time. You know this as well as I do. Prices are very elevated. Prices have gone up on everything substantially a lot. And we're not talking like 1, 2, 3%. We're talking like 10, 15, 20, 25% plus, depending on some of the situations and some of the items, products, services, things like that. Prices are up a lot, right? But anyway, here's what the study showed. They found just in the last 1 year alone, okay, so if we rewind 1 year ago from now, so here we are, the very end of April, as I host this live stream right now, and so if we go back 1 year, obviously 2024, here we are, so if we go back to the end of April 2023, so a year ago, we found that prices have gone up so much that the average household right now is spending an extra $227 a month right now on the same goods and services that we were buying exactly 1 year ago, okay? That's just on a 1 year basis. Now, if we go back 2 years, so back to the end of April 2022, okay, so 2 years ago, they found that the average household right now is spending an extra $784 a month right now. That's on a monthly basis, by the way. That's a month on the same goods and services because of increased prices on the things that we're buying, right? Goods and services. Now, if we were to go back 3 years, which would be the end of April 2021, right? So 3 years ago, prices have gone up, and the average household right now is spending an extra $1,069 a month on the same goods and services that we were buying 3 years ago. Compared to 3 years ago, we're spending that much more on a monthly basis. Which, by the way, that's about, what is that? $13,000 a year, a little bit less than that in that situation. So again, that just shows how much prices have gone up, and this is on the average household, by the way. So obviously, some people are not spending nearly that much. Some are spending significantly more. This is the average according to this statistic and what I found. So yeah, that's pretty surprising, right? But anyway. Which, by the way, if you're interested in doing so, I'd love to see down below in the chat box if you want to share. Have you experienced this as well? Now, maybe you're not spending an extra $227, $784, or $1,069 a month right now compared to where you were the last 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, but are you spending an extra 5, 10, 15, 20%? Probably, if that translates into an extra I don't know, 100, 150, 200, 300, $400 a month more. Or the other situation is, and here's the situation that a lot of us are dealing with right now, is that incomes are not actually keeping up with the real price increases, right? So there's only two options here. Number one is either we maintain our spending level, we still buy the same goods and services, but yet our income isn't keeping up. Therefore, we need to float the balance somewhere, right? That means loans, credit cards, selling things in order to get the money to buy the things, right? So that is one situation that some people are doing, floating balances in credit card. The vast majority of people are not, though, but rather most people are cutting back on spending to the same proportion that they are as far as prices going up, right? So if prices have gone up, say on average $227 in the last 12 months, most of us are cutting back on our spending by about that much because obviously if the income is not kept up with that, what do we have to do? We either have to borrow the money, float it on a credit card, get a loan or whatever, or we have to basically cut back that much, right? In other words, getting less food, probably driving less, maybe reducing insurance on your car. I don't know. Again, I wouldn't recommend that whatsoever. But I'm just simply saying, maybe you're, maybe not turning the heat up as much in the winter. Maybe you're not cooling as much in the summer. Again, the list goes on and on. I'm just giving some examples here. But we got to cut back on that same amount because if your income hasn't got up to that much, then the only other option is basically cutting back on that spending, right? So anyway, that's what that whole report was showing, and I found it to be very fascinating, and that's why I shared it with you in that video. Now, next, really quickly here, I do want to talk about this idea of high monthly checks, which, by the way, you might be wondering, hey, you going to get in the chat box at some point? Yeah, I will, okay? So here's what I typically do. I talk through the details here, basically the first couple minutes here. I talk through the details of what I want to share with you, and then in just, I don't know, a couple minutes here, I will jump into the chat box, and then we can talk through questions and concerns and whatever's going on down there. So, yes, I will get to the chat here in just a minute. So if you're joining me live, thanks. First off, I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so. Subscribe button, I don't know, probably down below the video somewhere. But yeah, we'll get into the chat here in a minute. But here's this other idea out there, okay? Establishing a high monthly checks, okay? Now, again, there could be a variety of different ways that this could be accomplished. It could be universal basic income, UBI. It could be GBI, guaranteed basic income, which, by the way, there's over 150 of these guaranteed basic income programs going on right now all across the country. There's a bunch of them, and these all popped up since the end of 2019. So in the last, I don't know, 4.5 years or so, give or take a little bit. Basically all of these programs have shown up, 150 plus guaranteed basic income programs. So, and this new one here, universal high income. Now, let me explain the details about this really fast here, because I've had some people asking, okay, like when are we going to get it? How much is it going to be? Who's going to be included? Again, the typical questions that I always get, which is, let's look at the big picture here. What is causing all this? Why would they just all of a sudden implement a universal basic income or UBI or GBI type of program or universal high income? Now, here's the thing. Yes, the guaranteed basic income programs are showing up all across the country on a state by state, county by county, city by city level. Yes, they are on those levels, but on the nationwide level, no, it has not been approved yet on the nationwide level. However, this whole idea of establishing a nationwide level of high monthly checks or guaranteed basic income, whatever it happens to be, the whole idea behind that is basically the massive takeover of AI, artificial intelligence. Now, here's the thing. Maybe you think like, oh no, this probably won't ever happen. Just look at how much this has expanded just in the last, I don't know, year and a half or so, okay? So like what, a year and a half ago, something like that? How many of us really heard about AI in the mainstream media and news, and you heard about it all the time? Like a year and a half ago, you probably never really heard about it, right? It was not that much of a thing. I mean, obviously AI has been around for a very long time, but it really took off. Call it, I don't know, a year and a half or so ago, give or take a little bit. It's all over the place now. And since then, it has just been everywhere. You probably have seen some of the videos here on YouTube as well. AI generated videos, right? I guarantee you've seen some of them. We've all seen them. A lot of times, if you don't really know what you're looking for, you might actually not even recognize it's an AI video. A lot of times, you're probably coming across some of these for sure, and you may not even know it. They're all over the place. There's tons of them all over, but this is the situation. Now, again, it's not just here on YouTube with videos, okay? That's not what I'm referring to. There's so many different things. There's so many different applications where AI is being implemented, and it is really, really taking over massive amounts of jobs and big sectors of the economy, things like this. There's a ton of things that can be done through automation and through AI, and basically replace tons and tons and tons of jobs. Now, as a low income or fixed income beneficiary, why do we care if it doesn't impact us? If we're not necessarily working and we're retired or something like this, if you're not necessarily working a 9 to 5, what do we care if it takes a job? Well, we care because that just means that a lot of extra people are not out there in the workforce. And again, remember, when it comes down to people in the workforce, what is a couple of things that they do? Number one is they pay payroll taxes into Social Security, which ultimately funds the Social Security Trust funds for the disability benefits, as well as the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund as well. So that's pretty important as well, right? If people are not working because they got booted because of a robot, well then we've got a little bit of a situation here, right? So do you kind of see the idea behind this? So we've had many very highly influential and prominent people coming out suggesting, hey, we need to establish a guaranteed basic income or some type of basically no strings attached payment system that is in place so that when AI really takes over, which it's going to, it's not like a matter of if it's going to, it's just a matter of when. And it's honestly not going to be that long from now, right? Just in the last 1 year alone, we've seen massive proliferation of AI. And just in the next, call it 1, 2, 3, 5 years or something like this, it's going to be nuts to look back on this and be like, wow, didn't see that coming. But really, we did. We knew it was coming, and we know that, okay? So it's just a matter of time. That's all it really comes down to. And that's what these people are suggesting. Even some lawmakers have come out suggesting as well, hey, I support establishing this type of guaranteed basic income or monthly check program now. Let's actually get the infrastructure in place so that when this happens, we have something to fall back on and not like, oh, what do we do now, right? We don't know what to do. That's exactly what they're saying is let's get the infrastructure in place. Let's get all this set up now so that when we see these this massive influx of AI into the real economy and basically taking over huge sectors, that people have something to lean back on, which is called basically basic income. Make sense? So, and a lot of this too as well, this inflation that's going on now, I mean, obviously we've been dealing with it for a very long time, but how long is it going to continue going at the pace that it is? And inflation still goes up. The Federal Reserve is still holding rates very high, interest rates very high. This is not sustainable for a lot of people in a lot of ways, which, by the way, Wednesday in 2 days from now, in just a couple days, the Federal Reserve will be coming out with their next FOMC meeting, and that's going to be a big one, right? So we will know more about interest rates and their policy going forward. I anticipate they're going to continue to pause yet again, but you never know, right? So anyway, we'll have to see here. That's on Wednesday. So if you saw the video over the weekend, I had information on that. But yeah, I would check that out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, just wait until Wednesday. I'll give you all the details then. But long story short here is that all of this is something we certainly need to pay attention to very closely, okay? So again, with this massive inflation that is not sustainable for a lot of people, very high interest rates, again, not sustainable. Like nobody has any money. People are struggling financially in a massive way. At what point does something crack? I mean, you know what I mean? Like at what point does something break here? Because this cannot go on forever, right? People cannot continue to struggle financially. And with the very high interest rates and massive inflation driving up prices, we can't really go on like this indefinitely, right? I mean, okay, maybe fine a few years, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just simply saying it can possibly go on for a couple years, but all of a sudden there's a breaking point. There is a breaking point at some point where everybody's just like, hey, throw in the towel. I can't do this anymore, right? It's just not financially sustainable. So anyway, that's all I'm saying here is that we need to continue watching this. And remember as well, you probably heard me talk about this, which by the way, sorry, I'm almost done rambling here, okay? Yeah, I promise. I'll get into the chat box really soon here. I know it's kind of turned into a massive ramble fest, but you kind of get my point here. But anyway, remember this as much as well. A couple years ago, there were lawmakers, a handful of lawmakers that came out and introduced the Support Act. That's a $1,200 ongoing monthly check for adults that they wanted to implement for low-income people under $75,000 a year. Obviously, as of right now, no, it has not been passed yet, but I'm just simply saying that one is out there as well, and lawmakers are in support of that. A number of lawmakers, not every single one of them, but there's a bunch of them that are in support of this because, again, they saw this years ago suggesting, hey, we know that this is coming, and we should probably do something about this sooner than later, at least get the infrastructure in place, and they introduced the Support Act a couple years ago. So feel free to look that up if you want to. But again, I want to reiterate, no, it has not been passed yet, but yeah, that piece of legislation is out there and is something that they certainly want to establish because they all know what's coming, okay? Whether they act like, oh, we know it is or not. But my point is, something needs to be, figured out here for a lot of people because incomes just simply aren't keeping up. It doesn't matter how you cut it. It's not even low income or just fixed income. It's everybody. There's like a very, very, very small percentage of people that have actually had their incomes increased at the pace of inflation over the last, call it 3 years, right? Like virtually no one has had their income go up as much as inflation has in the last 3 years. Make sense? All right, so let's get in the chat box here. Again, I hope all that kind of makes sense here and explains a little bit further, but kind of interested to hear what you have to say. If you want to share down below in the chat box, I'll spend some time there kind of going through some questions and doing what I can to help you out. But yeah, I find this to be very interesting. So let's get into the chat and I'll do my best to see all the questions, concerns, whatever, things like that. All right. So, oh, by the way, I start at the bottom of the chat box and work my way up. So, yeah, I'll start with the most recent questions, concerns, and then work my way higher. It's just a lot easier to do that. Yeah, the Imaginator says they have my banking info. They can send it anytime. Agreed. I think you're speaking for all of us, Imaginator. That's totally agreed. Yeah. They have our banking info. They know exactly all the details. Yeah, just send it on over. We're waiting. Yeah, Jim H said headed toward socialism. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, Jim. Yeah, most people probably won't recognize that or even admit that, but yeah, that's kind of the path we're going down right now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Crystal Coachman, hello. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Doc Ennick still hanging around. Thanks, Doc. Nice to have you here. Deborah Chapman loves the live streams. Thanks, Deborah. I appreciate it. Checking in. Hope you're having a nice warm evening, Deborah. You know I'm always jealous. That's why I say that. Yeah, John Beckham says, hey, Matt, you and Corey keep the good work up. Thanks, John. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Exactly. Oops. I almost just clicked away. Sorry. I almost just clicked out of it. Anyway, Jamin, yeah, really good point there. So Jamin is saying any of these companies that are implementing AI should be paying taxes into Social Security. Very interesting that you say that. Here's what's interesting about it. They've talked about and introduced this whole idea of taxing robots. Seriously, it's a real thing. Feel free to look it up if you want to, but they have talked about this as well as saying, hey, if you replace, say, 10% of your workforce or 20 or 40% of your workforce or even 90 plus percent of a workforce, that's a lot of people that are out of work. And what are you supposed to do now, right? And they basically say that robots can work 24/7, 365, right? They don't have 6 days. They don't have, I didn't wake up today days. They didn't have my car broke down days. They didn't have daycare today days, right? They can work 24/7, 365 and they don't even complain, right? So the point is, yeah, there has been this idea and lawmakers have introduced this saying, we should probably tax robots then, right? So there is this idea of potential taxation of robots. Again, robots being AI, whatever, anything that replaces a human being, right? So if it's like a person loses their job because of AI or a robot or automation of some kind, they do want to tax that. So very interesting. Yeah, that's a great point, and they've talked about it. So I would not be shocked one bit whatsoever. In fact, I would expect that. And I think a lot of these companies would expect it as well. Or at least maybe not expected, but I don't think they'd be too shocked if they saw, taxation come in on AI or robotics, something like that. I don't think they'd be too shocked about that because, again, think about it. If they're employing, well, okay, not even employing, I shouldn't even say employing because it's not employing. If they buy the technology for AI or robotics or automation, whatever it happens to be, to replace a job, Think about it. That thing's going to sit there and just grind 24/7, 365, just working like a dog, right? Obviously, you can't do that with a human. The human can only work so many hours a day, so many days a week before it's completely burnt out and needs a break. Not only that, if it gets injury, now you have, a disability claim, you have work comp. Again, all kinds of things, insurance on the individuals, you have your vacation time, paid time off, you have all the taxes, the payroll taxes and things like this. Again, going on and on. So even if there were taxes implemented on robotics and AI, things like that would take over potential human jobs, at the end of the day, these corporations would probably be massively ahead by doing this. Again, I'm not saying here advocating for people to lose their job. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It doesn't really matter what I say. I'm just simply saying that if this were to happen, these companies would be way ahead if they did this, because for all the reasons I basically just said, right? Kind of makes sense. But yeah, for sure, they would want to get some kind of compensation on that as far as tax revenues off of that labor, technology labor, however you want to identify that. It's actually fascinating. I think it's pretty fascinating to see this, because think back 5 years ago. Could we have ever, well, okay, probably some people anticipated this, but do you think the bulk of the population 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago would have imagined that we were going to be in this position right now? Probably not, right? I don't think that's the case. Yeah. Joe Westfall, good evening, says Joe. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Yeah, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Toby Reville, maybe? Sorry. Probably saying your last name wrong. I apologize. But yeah, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Deborah Chapman, this year's flying by for sure. Yeah, exactly, right? Almost May. Wow, craziness. Yeah. So Rick Cornwell, I think is the last name. You're saying that everything, you said nothing that I've said in the last 6 months has come true. Okay. I guess I'm not really sure what you're listening to, because all I'm doing is reporting on like economic reports and giving updates and stuff like that. So I guess I'm not really sure. I'm confused what hasn't come true. So feel free to fact check anything that I talk about. You're welcome to do that. You can easily find it online. That's exactly where I find it. So I've never said a stimulus check is coming, if that's what you're referring to. So if that's what you think, then I've never said that. In fact, I've said it all the time. I've been very transparent about it. Stimulus checks are not coming right now. So I didn't say that if that's what you think. So, yep. James Casella. Thanks, James. Nice to have you here. Thanks. Oh, nice. Jammin', you're funny. Jammin' says they usually miss the live stream because you're out body surfing in your dreams. That sounds awesome. Yeah, so Saul is asking about the video from earlier this morning where I was talking about that $800 potential check. Yeah. Super interesting what's going on. And again, that all pertains to the Medicare for all type of situation. Obviously, lawmakers, well, okay, not all lawmakers. Some lawmakers want to implement Medicare for all. Some want to expand Medicare. Again, a major talking point this year. It hasn't been out there a ton. I've seen it pop up a couple times so far. But yeah, this is something that they've wanted to do for a very long time. In fact, the last, 3 years or so, we've seen this whole talk about Medicare for all many times. In fact, Bernie Sanders is one of the major people talking about this. Now, he hasn't been out, not that I've seen anyway, in the last, couple days here, but as of recently this year, him and some other people have talked about this whole Medicare for all idea. And again, this is something that Bernie Sanders has talked about for years, talking about basically saying that, yeah, oh yeah, we got to implement this Medicare for all thing. Well, I can tell you this much: if they implemented a Medicare for all, it's going to take a very long time. However, the concession, like I talked about in that video from earlier this morning, is, hey, if we can't get Medicare for all, let's implement at least expanding Medicare for all of these other services. Okay, so that's what I was talking about in that video. Oh, wow. Deborah's just rubbing it in, saying chilling out in 85 degrees. She's going to hit the pool when this is over. Yeah. Thanks, Deborah. I don't even know what to say to you anymore, Deborah. um, Mark Parson is asking, why do people on SSI need to go to a website to check eligibility? I'm not exactly sure what benefits you're talking about, but I'm not even sure what website you're referring to. I mean, are you talking about a Social Security website? Yeah. BNB family, you're wondering, how do you know what type of check you receive? As far as like Social Security check, well, you should probably, I'm guessing you probably know what type of check you get. I mean, there's only a couple options, right? There's Social Security retirement. There could be SSDI if you're disabled. There could be SSI if you're age 65 or older and you have limited income, limited resources, or you're under the age of 65 and a disability. It could be survivor's benefits. It could be spousal benefits. It could be VA benefits, something like that. Yeah. Crystal Coachman saying that's good to know. You're going to call your bank about something. Yeah, John Beckham says money for everyone. Yeah, pretty much. Edge of Insanity. Nice name. Yeah, I think that that explains it, right? Yeah. What are lawmakers doing about the housing crisis? Well, right now, a whole lot of nothing. That's about it. However, I do want to point something out about, oh my, I could be off by a month. I'm going to say like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. Again, I could be off by a month or so. I don't know. Time just goes. I lose track of time sometimes, but it was a couple months ago. Let's just say that much, okay? The administration announced they calling it the Accelerator Program. In fact, I had a live stream about it and I had a video about it as well, where they are where are all the details about this. So basically, they want to do something with low income housing. I'm going to be honest with you, it was something about like rental subsidies or reduced rents or rental assistance, something like that. Again, I apologize. It was a couple months ago. I don't remember the exact details about it. I'd say check out the live stream. If you scroll back in the live stream, honestly, I don't even know the title of the live stream. It was something about some announcement from the administration or something like that. Or if you go back in the videos, if you scroll back in the videos, maybe could be a month ago, month and a half ago. I honestly don't remember when it was. There was something about talking about reduced or like free rent, something like that. Check out that video. I have all the details there. Again, I'd have to look it up again and refresh my memory on it. I just don't remember all the details about the program right now, but it's called Accelerator Program. Feel free to look that up. Just type in like administration announces Accelerator Program, something like that. If you just go to a search engine and type something about Accelerator Program that was announced by the administration, you should find something about it. Otherwise, check out the videos that I had, and they're trying to implement some kind of thing there for low-income people. So I apologize. I wish I had the details about it. Again, there's so many different things that go on. I just totally forgot the details about it. Wow. Wow. So 670M blog, I think, is the name. Not sure where you're located, but you said it's very early here in the morning of Tuesday. So that's cool. Wherever you're located is probably far away. I know, very educated, right? Sorry. I don't know where it could be. Maybe you're located in like maybe like an Asian country or like Australia, something like that. I think that'd be probably pretty early Tuesday morning. $8 a gallon for gas. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, $788 a month from SSI. Yeah, exactly. With gas being $8 a gallon, that's wow, that's nuts. Yeah, Janet Hadley, thank you. Yeah, Harold Kempster, we need help now. Congress isn't helping. Yeah. So Coachman keeps talking about some kind of check or payment or something. I'm curious what you're talking about here. Yeah. Shelvalestra, hello. Nice to have you here again. Yeah, nice. Um, yeah, this is interesting. Someone said Harold Kempster said gets SSI, and the same day he gets it, it's all gone. Well, yeah, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to spend $943 in a single day when you've been waiting all month for it. Here's another thing as well. Again, this is something that's so basic that I think a lot of people don't even realize, which again, obviously, as a fixed income beneficiary, you already know this, but think of it this way. Most people that are working, say, 9 to 5, part time, whatever it happens to be, somebody that's working a traditional job, how many times a month do they get paid? Well, they get paid a minimum in most instances twice a month. Other people get paid 4 times a month, right? Because they get paid either every week or every other week. How many times a month does a fixed income beneficiary get paid? Once. That's it. One time per month. You get a little check one time per month, and then you need to scrape by on that one check for the next month until you get paid again, right? So I think it's a lot of people that don't receive a fixed income benefit. They don't even realize, like, wow, they're pretty lucky getting paid twice or 4 times a month. That's pretty nice. A lot of people don't realize how nice that is. Every Friday or every Thursday or whatever, your bank account getting another deposit, right? When a fixed income beneficiary gets paid once per month, you sit there and wait and wait and wait every 30 or so days, give or take a little bit. All of a sudden, you get one deposit. That can be really rough. You've got to go through a lot of planning throughout your entire month to make sure that money lasts as long as it possibly can. And again, a lot of people don't realize that, right? But yeah, that certainly takes a lot of planning. I don't think the average person realizes how much extra brain power and planning it really takes to really figure out the finances on the budgeting for somebody on a fixed income when they're getting paid, every week or every other week, something like that. To basically say, I have to plan out my next 30 plus days or so to get me by to my next check. That's tough for a lot of people. Yeah, Richard Cavill, I think is the name. Yeah, thanks for the nice message. Richard wrote a very nice message. You're welcome. Just want to do what I can to help everybody here. Yeah, Susan Williams says disability check goes to groceries. Yup, I bet you don't really get a whole lot for that, right? Janet Hadley says, cool Michigan here. Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna scroll back down. I think I've gone up quite a bit. I probably missed a whole bunch at the very top, but I'll scroll back down to the bottom again. We'll probably hang out here for a little bit longer and just answer some more questions. I wouldn't want to hold Deborah Chapman from the pool any longer. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Yep. All right. Okay. All right. Where's it at? Sorry. It just takes me. I'm just like so slow sometimes. Oh, come on. All right. Oh, my. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce Davis saying 943 in poverty, eating one meal a day. Pretty much, exactly. Okay, I've talked about that before in other videos, but yeah, exactly. As of right now, compared to the federal poverty line and SSI benefits are 33% below the federal poverty line as of right now. That's huge. That's a huge, huge, huge amount, right? So you'd have to get a 33% raise to SSI benefits just to be at the federal poverty line. That's crazy. Thanks, Doc Enick. Thank you very much. That's so kind. You're always so kind, Doc. Thank you. Matthew Hill is here. Yeah, John Bristow. Yeah, exactly. Buy stock in a what'd you say? Tent housing solution. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Deborah Chapman. Thank you. Keisha Lane says hi. Hello, Keisha Lane. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Doc Enick. Yeah, exactly. Spend a little bit of time. Sure. Doc saying, make sure to spend some time for yourself. Yeah, a little bit. That's called like sleeping. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Right. Yeah, a lot of people suggesting that prices are very high on a lot of different things. Electricity bills, food bills, groceries. I saw a lot of comments there talking about grocery bills being very, very high. Yeah, totally agree, right? Very expensive. Even though they continue to tell us, "Oh no, it's going down," right? Everybody's better off today. Who? Where? Show me someone, right? I don't know. I haven't found that person yet. Have you? Roger's asking, when am I going to talk about the 227 to 1069 per month? That was the first, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes of the video. I talked about that right away at the beginning. That's generally what I do is I always talk about the content of it first, and then I get into the chat box and just kind of go through some comments here. So that was all kind of at the first 10, 12, 15 minutes of the video or so. I don't know how long it was, but yeah, right at the beginning. Yeah, Rebecca Starr, again, same situation. You get your check, it's all gone the same day, and then you are overdrawn. That's a sad situation, but yeah, that's the reality for a lot of people, unfortunately. Gil Garcia checking in. Hello, Gil. That's nice to have you here. Nice. I see a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. Shane is yelling at me. So here's the thing about Shane. So it's funny thing about Shane is that he's super mad at me and calling me a moron and nobody should watch. I mean, here's the thing. If you don't want to watch, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm never here to say you should. But he quoted another channel here and says, this guy knows when stimulus checks are coming. Okay, Shane, you go right ahead and believe that, okay? You go right ahead over to that other channel. You believe all you want that stimulus checks are coming, okay? You go ahead and hold your breath on that one, okay? We'll all sit here and watch your little face turn blue, okay? My point is, stimulus checks are not coming. So, Shane, whatever you believe, and if you want to go watch that other channel, then go ahead, go. We're not going to miss you, okay? I'm going to say that much, okay? My point is, I say this all the time. It doesn't really matter if mad at me for telling you the truth, but right now, stimulus checks are not coming. I say that all the time. But if this other channel that you watch knows exactly when stimulus checks are coming, then wow, hooray for him that he's just continuously blowing a bunch of smoke, because they're not. They're not coming. Okay, so whatever. Yep. Guam. That's where 670M blog. Guam. Yeah, that's way out in the middle of the Pacific, I think. Right? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's leave it at that for now. All right, let's see. Oh, but. All right, so it looks like just kind of a lot of back and forth. Not really any specific questions for the most part. Yeah. Yeah, this is funny. So a lot of people are echoing the little, yeah, what I said there. But here's the thing. Yeah, just whatever. I already said it. Yeah, Shirley Curvy. Is that your last name? Yeah, Shirley Kirby. Yeah, hello. Nice to have you here. Nice to see you. Yeah, Matthew Bracy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Nice. Right. Okay, so let's just leave it at that for now. Again, I didn't really see any questions in there for the most part. I mean, a couple here and there, but I think I answered just about everything here. So, all right, so let's leave it at that for now. If you want to come back and elaborate on any of this further, just let me know down below in the chat box, or after this video is up or whatever, just leave a comment down below. But I'll do whatever I can for you, and just want to help you out right now. And again, always bringing you honest, accurate, reliable, and transparent information. You can always cross-reference anything. If you ever want to fact check anything that I talk about, by all means, look it up online. That's exactly where I find it. You can find it as well. And again, I always give you details as far as what you can do. Sometimes I even tell you exactly what to search online. Again, like I said a couple minutes ago, the Accelerator program. Again, I have a couple videos about it. I have a live stream talking about it. The Accelerator program, it's something about like free or reduced rents. I don't remember all the details right now. It was a couple months ago. Feel free to look it up. That's what it's called, though. So anyway, all right, so let's jump off this live stream, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. I can always come back tomorrow or the next day, whatever, and talk about more information, but there's a lot going on right now. Remember, this week we got a lot of big announcements. In fact, Wednesday, Federal Reserve will be out then. Friday, we have the all-important job report. That one's a big one as well. That's a big one that points out the health of the economy, shows how many jobs are being lost or created, the unemployment rate. It also shows up labor participation rate. It shows us average hourly earnings. It gives us a lot of details about the economy. So that's pretty important as well. So I'll keep you posted on all that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to unplug the microphone, the same old situation I always say, which is when I unplug the mic, it's going to start talking. And if you're still here, you may want to click off now. If not, it's totally fine too. But go. All right, again, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and enjoy your day. Thank you. All right, so let's hit this finish. All right, have a nice afternoon. I will catch you again later in the next video. See you for now. See ya.